Good morning, everyone. Hopefully we'll have some people come join us. Let me just get my stand in the right place. There we go. Now we can see everything. All right, good morning and welcome to Creative Chelsea. Today we are finishing up our 2-sheet wonder cards. So I'm just going to give it a minute since this is live in my Facebook group right now so that people can come and find the video. And if you're watching it replay either in Facebook or on YouTube, then just leave a little comment saying that you're watching the replay. Okay. So we'll just wait a couple minutes since I like to start right around 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit further so we get a little more of my workspace. Looks like Lori's here. Good morning, Lori. So glad you're able to join me today. So I just want to share some of the cards we made last Saturday. So these were cards 3 and 4. So if you by chance missed that replay, you can go back and watch it. You can find it in the Facebook group Creative Chelsea or on YouTube. So we made 2 of this card. You can see the different patterns in the background, and then we used vellum and then had a fun die cut to go behind our focal point with our greeting and that cute single flower. So that was really cute. And then we were able to make one 4 pattern square cards. Lots of details in the center and just kind of a fun play on those background colors. So I went ahead and did the same thing with my, oh now I can't remember, I keep forgetting the name of this paper. I did this last week as well. It's like art gallery or something like that. Fine Art Floral. I think it's the art gallery suite, but it's Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper. And you can see here that we did the same thing. We have 2 patterns in the background, used vellum, had a big die cut that just says, just want to say, and then I added the greeting a little lower, a single flower on one side, and then I did use a ribbon, but I used it in the background behind the greeting. So that turned out really cute, and then did the same thing with just some different colors for the second card. And then for my 4 square card, I decided to stick with the same patterns just so that it didn't get too busy. So I have 2 of the same patterns in opposite corners, and then picked a flower of a different color so that it would really stand out, and then did the Z-fold ribbon in the background. I think that turned out really cute. That one's one of my favorites. So really fun, and I have really enjoyed seeing all of the cards that you are making as well. So please keep sharing those cards, and you can either email me or join the Facebook group Creative Chelsea and add them to that group, or put them in the event that I made in that group. Anyway, comment. Anyway is fun to see those cards. Good morning, Mary. So fun to have you here with us today to make these cards. All right, so it's 10 o'clock, so let's get started. We have 2 pieces, or we should have about 2 or 3 pieces of paper left. So this one, let's measure it and find out what size so that we know what we can cut with it. So this one is 4 inches across. Remember, we did all of them at 4 inches, and it is just a little bit smaller than 7 inches. So it's 6 and about 3/4 inches in length. And then this one is 4 inches and it's 5 1/4. And then this one's probably 1 inch. So 1 inch by 4 inches. And I think this is that scrap paper here that we're not using. So you can use that on the inside of a card or make a bonus card using those scratch pieces of Designer Series paper. So we're doing cards 5 and 6. So let's see, this one doesn't really matter since they all are about the same. I'm just trying to see if there's some other parts of cards 5 and 6 that we need. So I think this is everything we need for cards 5 and 6. So let's go ahead and just make sure that everything is cut. We're going to start by cutting at 5 1/4, which this one I think was. Yep. So that's 5 1/4. We'll just put that off to the side. And then this one will cut at 5 1/4 as well. I'm trying to decide where did this extra piece come from. Maybe that's the extra piece. Did I miss putting these on a card? That's possible. Let me double check my cards really quick. So these are my cards number 1 and 2. 4 inches by 1 1/4. Or 1 1/2. There's that one. Is that the 1 1/2? That is 1 1/2. Did I not add that to my card? Sorry guys. No, I have them on my cards. Oh, maybe because I have 4 and no. I don't know. Don't know where that piece came from. So that's fun. We have some extra pieces. Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe if I was doing them all at the same time, I would realize where it came from. So, all right. Well, we don't need it. We'll just put it off to the side. Good morning, Catherine. So glad to see you. So we're going to now take those 2 pieces. Remember, we can cut both of them at the same time. And let's start with card 5. So we're going to begin by cutting. We're just removing 3/4 of an inch from our 4 inches. So I'm measuring on the right side of my cut line here at 3/4, or you can measure at 3 1/4, which would be the second measurement on your paper. Okay, so I now have those pieces, and keep those together because that's card number 5. And then for card number 6, you want to cut here in the middle, and you can see here that they're all 2 inches. So this is 4 inches, and here in the middle is 2 inches. So let's cut there first at 2 inches on each side. And then we're going to keep one at full length, and then we'll take the second one and we're going to cut that at 2 inches as well. So we'll have one that is 2 inches by 2 inches, one that is 2 inches by 3 1/4 inches, and then this one on the right is 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, and you can see on the card how they will be placed. So make sure to keep those together as well. All right, so we're now going to move over to the other pattern because these are the ones that I made, and I had the extra pieces for the second card, because remember, you can make 2 cards of every layout. So this is card number 5 here, and I have done all my pre-stamping and cutting. Hi Margie, glad you're able to join us today. So let's start with card 5, and I have a card base of Smoky Slate. I'm just going to use my bone folder to score or to make a nice crease along that score line. So I did use a little piece of silver foil sheet. I'm just going to tuck that under on this side of on the left side of the larger piece. And that's just going to give a nice accent to that seam there between the two pieces. So you can decide to either, either side of pattern paper, whichever you want to use. So I can choose to do gray and then blue on one side, or do both in blue, which that's kind of the one I want to do today because I love that dark blue as the background. So I'm just going to take my adhesive and add some to the back here. And then I'm going to use my grid paper and line this up on that grid line and then come down. I don't know if you can see, I'm looking at the bottom here because this silver foil sheet's a little bit longer than my card, and I'll just trim it when I need it. So I'm going to do about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just kind of finding the middle of one of these squares and then eyeballing it all the way up to the top. And then take a pair of paper snips and I'm just going to trim off any overhang. Okay. So then this piece I'll just add right onto my card base. Hi April, hi Melanie. So glad that you guys are able to join me today. Just going to place this right along the folded edge on the left side of the card base. Just want to make sure that it's got about an even spacing all the way around, and then you can add the next piece. Make sure to add some adhesive on both pieces of paper and then line that up. So another reason we added that silver foil is because the way we cut this, these two pieces, the designer series paper pieces, would just meet right next to each other. And so that silver foil kind of just acts as a transition piece, and it kind of covers that extra cut so that you don't have two raw ends right next to one another. Okay, so that's really pretty. If you don't have any foil, you could use a regular colored cardstock as well, just to add in some more color. So we're going to add the vellum heart. This one comes from the card number 4, I think it is, where we used vellum to create that background. So here's the vellum. So when I cut that from the die, there was the vellum heart left over. And so we're going to use that piece. And I'm just going to add adhesive to the bottom and place that so that it is about 1/3 from the bottom of the card, and it does overhang into that next pattern. Then I'm going to add my greeting, and if you're interested to see how I have stamped this greeting on this fun banner shape, you can watch the video where we make cards 1 and 2. And if you're watching on YouTube, I will link the playlist to the other videos up here in the top right corner. And if you're watching on Facebook, then I will include it in the description below so that you can go and watch that if this is the first video you found for these cards. So I'm just folding this back on itself. There's some score lines there. And I will also list all the products that I have used as well in the description for this video. So if you want to know which products I'm using, you can find that there. I'm going to add some glue dots. These glue dots come from the paper pumpkin kits. So I had some left over, so I'm just going to go ahead and use those. And I love my take a pick tool because they're so easy to pick up. Hi Roxanne, and hi Sue. So glad you guys could join. Sue says that she loves these cards. I do too. It's been fun to kind of remake them as well. All right, so I think I'm actually going to hold off putting these down because I'm looking at my card and there's a lot of layering that's happening behind my greeting. So I'm just going to turn that over and put it off to the side. And let's put on our flower stuff. So these two are little silver foil sheets that I've cut out with the coordinating dies. And then I've got my greeting or my flowers. And then I also have some ribbon left. This is all I have. I've been really happy that it has lasted for this card, these cards. So let's look. So the other one has some ribbon too. So I'm just actually going to take what I have left over and trim it. I normally would probably do between 10 and 12 inches since this is a nice big bow. And right now I've got 9. So it might be a little bit on the smaller side. And I'm going to just, to kind of keep my bow big, I'm not going to tie a bow. If you have more twine, you can go ahead and tie a bow and add that here if you're making this card. Instead, I'm going to just add some adhesive, and I've got some strong adhesive, and I've placed the center there, and then I'll just wrap back and forth to create that faux bow. So I can get as big of a loop as I can. There we go. So you see how that works? And that's just here on the edge of the heart. And now I'll just kind of add my little stamped and die cut pieces. And this time I'll use the dots on the roll. This is just really easy to use here. So they kind of just go on the heart, just kind of tucked in. And I think now I could probably add my greeting because I've placed that ribbon. That ribbon would be kind of hard to get in there. So that just goes kind of at the bottom part of the heart, like that. And now I can tuck in my flowers. Let's do the blue one first. Hi, Judy. Hi, Jennifer. Good morning to you guys as well. Thanks for joining me today. This cute one is going to go off to the side a little bit. I think I might bring this leaf up just a little bit. So glue dots are nice because if you kind of rotate them, you can sometimes get them to come off without any damage. And then tuck in some other flowers right under here. If you wanted to, you could also use dimensionals to add some more height to your card. Then I've got these little silver foils that I'm just going to tuck as well. Okay, so just a little grouping of flowers right there. Very cute. And then I did add some down in the bottom corner just to kind of even out the colors. So a little bit of the leaf. And then a yellow flower. I probably used a dimensional on that one just to add a little height to it. Okay, and then I did add just a little more bling to them with the Opal Rounds. So I'll go ahead and add that. I like to use 3, like keep things in like an odd number. So I've placed one large one up at the top and then a couple smaller ones down at the bottom. And that card's all done. When you do the stamping and prepping all at one time, it makes putting the cards together really quick and easy. So if you're interested in seeing what techniques I used for those stamping, you can go back and watch the first video as well. And I share that all in the card 1, card 2 video. And it is just the stamp off, stamp on technique, and that's how I got the lighter color or the lighter tone of that same color. Sue says that she loves the touch of silver foil to jazz up the card. I do too. It's just a little bit more, it just adds that little bit of fun, doesn't it? So those two versions, and you can see the different placement of that pattern paper. So now let's move to card number 6. So this one's fun. One thing that I loved about the, let me grab the dies. So one thing I loved about the floral heart dies that coordinate with the stamp set I used is not only does it cut out the stamp sets, but it does have all those fun extra embellishments. And one of them is this long die that creates these cute heart piece that will, like it's a border piece that we're going to use here. And so I've already cut that out, but I did want to share with you how I did it. So you can see here that it's one piece. And so what I did for this is I started on one edge of my card. So let's just pretend that this cardstock here is my silver foil. And so I took the edge die and I cut it right along the edge with the hearts on the outside. Okay, so you can see there, maybe not super well because it's like they're the same color. But that's, I would run it through my emboss machine, and I had about 1 inch to 1.5 inch piece. So that was how thick it was, but I did place it pretty close to that edge. And then what happens is it does create a little bit of an indentation right there in the middle. Can you see that? There's like a straight line. It's not the stitched lines, but right in between there's a little bit of an indent. So then I took and I rotated it. So now I have, what happens is it just removes that little bit along that edge and you get this pretty heart shape. So this would all have been solid and I would just have hearts along it. And then I rotated it and placed it underneath that first cut, and I lined up this solid line with the indentation line that was created when I ran it through. So then it would look something like that. And then when I ran it through, it would cut along that heart line. And then I was able to get this double line like that. So that was how I made that. And I hope that made sense. So, okay, so let's grab the pieces. And Melanie says that the use of vellum on that card makes her happy. And I'm so glad that you guys love vellum as much as I do. It's such a great thing to add to your cards. Just it provides that little extra change in color that can really make your cards pop. Okay. I am not sure why I have so many 2x2 squares here, but I do. I have lots of them. But let's just find the one that matches here. Well, let's find the opposite one because I think, what did I do? So that's that, and then that's that. Okay, so this is what I should have left over, are 2 of the same piece. So you can see on the other side they match as well, and then 1 of a different piece. And so if you have cut, so like if I was using this floral paper, I would pick 2 of the same piece. So maybe this flower, and then rotate that one over, and then pick 1 of a different piece. And then I'd probably do something like that. Okay. And then I would have the exact same for this card. 2 of the same piece, but then I want to show the different patterns and then rotate that other one. Okay. So that's kind of what we're doing with this number 6 card. I hope you hear me. I kind of just talked really quietly there for a minute. Okay. All right. So everyone's saying that the silver foil heart made sense. So if you have questions and are watching the replay, then just let me know. And if I was too quiet about explaining this, then type that in the comments as well. Sometimes I get talking and I forget to project my voice. All right, so now we're just going to decide what patterns we want and where. So I love this paisley pattern, so I think I'm going to put that on the right side and then do maybe more of this blue on the left, just kind of for a fun in between all those patterns. So go ahead and add some adhesive here. Okay, Melanie says that you're able to hear. That's great. Thank you, Melanie. And then you're just going to add these right next to that piece. So they should all line up nicely. And you could do like the polka dots there if you wanted to as well. Maybe I will. That's kind of a nice to have the gray all the way around. It feels a little more similar to the first card. So you can see that gray, and we've got gray there too. So now we're going to add this silver foil, and it's been cut to 4 inches already. And I'm just going to place that right along there. I think I might actually use my glue dots for this so that I don't get adhesive in the hearts. So just a glue dot probably on each end and then in the middle. And that just goes right over that line there. Then we're going to add the greeting. So fold along those score lines. And add dimensionals in the middle. That's going to help it pop up. And then you can add those glue dots on the ends, and that just holds it down onto the paper so that you get that fun dimension with the banner. So the fun thing about these cards, oh, my little heart got smushed, is that it's kind of all about the layout of these pieces, and then you can add your own elements to the card to kind of get a little bit of a different look using different paper or different stamp sets. So that's kind of the fun thing about them. So try not to do, like if you're using different stamps and stuff, then you're going to need to spend a little bit of time on that creation of where do I add the stamps and how do I use this layout in a way that makes, you know, my card look good with the things I have. So we talked a little bit last time. I'm adding just a glue dot here in the corner of my banner and along that silver foil for my ribbon. Anyway, we talked last time about how that creative process can take some time, and that a lot of times when I'm making original cards, it can take up to, you know, hours really. I'm lucky if it takes only an hour to create something original. And so take your time and enjoy the process of making something that is uniquely yours. So there's that fun bow, and I just again did a faux bow, and I used a glue dot to hold everything down. And then if you want to make sure that's nice and secure, you can add another glue dot right on top. So, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start placing these stamped images. Got one that kind of comes down, and then another one that goes up. Kind of near that greeting. And you could add again, you can add dimensionals here if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and do these flowers. Placing one a little bit high and then another one a little lower. And then use these cute little blue leaves or berries whatever you want to call them, and just tucking them in over here on the left side. Okay, so that card's done. And again, my original card, for some reason, you can see that bigger twine there. And so if you wanted to make sure that you have more twine and make sure you get those nice big loops, and this is what happens when you're kind of running out of the twine, but it's still super cute and adds just that little touch to the card. And my card, I didn't add any of those Opal Rounds, but let's do that right now. So we'll just take a couple, maybe a small one, add it down here, and then a small one up there, and let's do a big one as well. Where should we put that? Right here on the flowers. That's kind of fun to actually add them to your stamped images. Okay. All right. So that card is all done. So that's number 6. Sue says that these little leaves look like blueberries. And I agree. They're kind of fun to think about them being little berries in that arrangement of flowers. So I thought, because we'd probably be done with this a little fast, I could go ahead and make my floral cards as well, since we won't be coming back live and showing you how those turned out. So let's go ahead and make those. And I did do some prepping beforehand to get things ready for that. Oh, I probably need another set of card bases. So I'm going to stick with these really fun flower sides for the larger portion. And then I did grab some gold foil. I like how these ones look with the gold. And I'm just going to tuck it under. I just realized it looks like I need another one for my second card. So I'm going to add a little adhesive here. And then do the exact same thing I did before and just make about 1/8 of an inch of that gold foil showing along that edge. And then trimming it down. Let me go grab my gold foil and see if I have another strip. Hold on. I'm kind of a hoarder when it comes to leftover pieces, and I tend to always keep my little 1/2-inch strips of things, but it seems like I don't have one that's long enough. How long is that? Nope. Okay. Whoop, my chair is rolling out from underneath me. So I'll just cut a piece from this one. And I'll just do a 1/2 inch here. And add that to that card. So you don't have to stick around if you, you know, have your, we already made the cards, but if you'd like to see how these ones turn out, you're welcome to stay. Love that little touch of gold to them. And then I'm just going to do, I love the yellow with that pattern here, and then the pink with this one. So I've kind of flip-flopped the pattern slightly. I'm going to add that piece to my left of my card. And then add this piece. And again, just make sure everything lines up nicely and you have a good border all the way around. That's a little crooked. There we go. That's a little better. Make sure when you're adding these to your cards that they are going the right direction. So if you've got flowers or something, you don't want them to be upside down on your card. Yeah, I think I did that right. And then now we get to kind of do the playing around. I did do some stamping and die cutting of some flowers before when I was making all my other cards. So you can see here that I've got these flowers. These ones were fun. I stamped it originally in the Mossy Meadow and then did another group of stamps and then did some fussy cutting and then layered them. So you can see that they're kind of popped up there. So that might be fun to do there. I love the red with this darker one. I also love the blue with this one here. That's pretty as well. So it's so hard to decide sometimes, you know, what to use on your cards. So I think I'm going to do that. I am noticing that they're competing with their background. So I'm going to go with one of my favorite things, which is vellum, and I'm going to pull in some vellum here and maybe in a circle, and so that that can pop up. Okay. So I have some scratched vellum pieces, and I'm going to use my large 2 1/4 circle punch. I noticed that these, this punch is not in the new annual catalog, and so if you want to get this nice large circle punch, you may want to place an order today because the annual catalog retires on the 3rd. So I'm going to kind of offset that a little bit, so that it kind of covers more of that pattern paper, because it doesn't compete with the solid paper, just the pattern paper. So that's kind of a nice little touch there to offset that a little bit, and then I can add my greeting at the bottom. And let's maybe do something with the ribbon. I think I put that away. Let me grab it. So this is the fine art ribbon. It has that gold flecking in it. And so you have this really pretty ribbon that you can kind of goes with that gold foil as well. So I think I'll just place that behind my greeting, and that will be how that works. So let me add these things to my card here. So you can see from the original card, it's very similar. We're using vellum. I'm actually going to bring it down a little bit from where I originally had it. So we got a little bit of vellum. We have our flowers, and then we'll do a greeting there at the bottom with some ribbon. I think I'm going to add this with some liquid adhesive just in those open spots. Wiggle it around until it starts to stick a little bit. And then that's a nice little card there. It's also nice to have the popped up part of that flower. I think that also helps pull it away from the card, like the busyness of the flowers in the card. This would be a beautiful Mother's Day. Maybe that's what I should do, is make this a Mother's Day card. I still haven't made those, and so there we go. And then let me see. Let's see. Does this have... I could do the "You are lovely," and then that could be a Mother's Day message in the inside. So let's do that. Just looking at this other one, I think we'll just stick with "You are lovely." Let me grab a clear block. And I think I'm going to use Mossy Meadow ink. It's a nice dark color that coordinates with both of those patterns. And I need some paper. So another thing I keep a lot of are my 1/2 inch strips of paper. And so I have a lot of those already pre-cut and ready to use for cards like this. So I've got that. I think I'll do about a 1/2 inch on one side and then do the same thing on this one. Then I've got, where is that? Just for fun and to add a little bit extra to that label, I'm going to use this banner punch and just slide that in. I always flip it over to make sure that it's still in the center. Even though it has those guides, sometimes it gets off just slightly. So punch those out and then kind of eyeball another 1/2 inch or so off that one side, and then we'll cut that other side as well. Okay, so those two greetings are ready. Let's just see how they look with the ribbon. I might bring the ribbon down just a little bit. Okay, so I think I want to cut about 4 inches of ribbon. And then use my tear and tape to add the ribbon to my card. I'm just going to place it in the center. I might fray the ends here, just see how that looks. So right in the center. And then probably use dimensionals here for this, if I can find them. I'll just grab a new sheet. Who else does that? When they can't find something, they just grab another one. Sorry, I'm kind of ignoring the greeting, or not the greetings, but the comments right now. I'm going to bring that a little straighter. And I will look at those in a minute, like when I'm done with this card. So look how pretty that is. Love that. And you can see again how they're very similar, but just slightly different with those different elements. So then add that at the bottom and the greeting. All right, I'll take a minute and look at the comments really quick. All right, so April says the nice finishing touches, and she probably was commenting on the first set of cards since it was quite a way back in the comments. And Judy says that she loves the whole set of cards. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad she was able to catch this one live. So glad you were able to join too, Judy. And Margie says, thanks for sharing your Saturdays with us. It's kind of nice. I kind of get to hide away in my craft room a little bit while my husband deals with the kids for an hour or so. It's kind of a nice little break. They do all their Saturday chores. And so, you know, I can kind of ignore what's happening. So thank you for coming and being here on Saturday with me. So those are those two cute cards, and then we can add some elements. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't look like I've added any rhinestones or anything to these cards, so I think we'll just leave these blank as well. But if you wanted to, maybe a couple rhinestones or those gold gilded gems would be really pretty there too. So really fun card there. And then we can move to card number 6. Let's see what else. Sue says this has been a great series. Thanks so much for sharing. Gives her great ideas for more cards. And April says great series and bonus cards too. And she likes the gold touch. Diana says love all these cards. So does Linda. And Melanie's loving it as well. Lori says she liked how those cards turned out. Me too. They turned out good. I need to grab some more card bases. So I had a really clean desk before I started this video, and now things are starting to get messy. And I've got my layers here. So I'm going to just start with those flowers on the right side. I love that pattern, how pretty those painted on flowers are. So we'll just add those first. Did you guys see the video on how they made this paper? I shared one of them in my group. I just thought it was so fun that they actually had somebody painting on a canvas and then took that and created these papers with it. Such a fun idea. Okay, then I'm going to take that matching color on the bottom. Sorry, I didn't get very far. I'm just doing this, laying down the picture or the pattern paper. I wonder if my children are on the internet somewhere. Okay, then adding this little piece right here. Super pretty. So then we can add a little bit of gold foil. I did find these pieces, so that might be fun to do. This one's a little bit on the short side. Let me see if I can find another piece that's longer. This one, we can just cut that in half. I could also use, you know, a fun border die if I have one. I did just get those new ones. Let's look. So if you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order some of the new product that is available from the annual catalog. And I did get these basic border dies, and they're really fun. This one, I love this little scalloped edge. That might be pretty. Oh, but it doesn't go straight across. I think we'll probably skip on that for now. But these will be really fun, and I'm excited to play around with those. So let's just go ahead and trim this to 2 pieces that are about 1/2 inch, and we'll just add it. Let's see. Kimberly says, you do such great cards. Love all your ideas. Thanks so much for sharing. You're welcome, Kimberly. Thanks for joining me. And Teresa says, beautiful. And Melanie says, Chelsea, you pull. I think she probably means a different word. You would be great. I'm guessing that's what it would be. Chelsea would be great at designing coordinating pattern paper. That would be really fun. I would love to work for Stampin' Up! And make paper. And stamps. I actually have a friend that works there because I used to live in Utah. So I know a couple of people who work there, and it's super, super fun for them. And that would, of course, be a dream job, right? Okay, let's think about what are we going to add here to this card. It would be fun. I kind of think this blue would be really fun there. What do you guys think? Yes? And then this one may be fun there. Yellow would be fun too, but it's really close to those colors, huh? That might have to go on this side. So this one is this little image here. Let me show you what I did. So this is this image, and then I took this image here and stamped over it to get a little more depth. You can see it more clearly here with this color scheme. So I was thinking this would be fun to kind of add to the center of that flower, kind of just to create some layers there. Let's see how it looks with the blue one. Yeah, just to give it some more layers and for fun. I think it could also be used separately by itself. Maybe even pretty with a little bit of red back there. Or maybe I just use the small ones. Kind of do some layering. What do you guys think, huh? Yes on the blue. Okay, so Diana says definitely blue on this side. So does Judy. We could even add some leaves. So this is kind of where you're getting some of that creativity that's kind of taking up some time, right? I think I like this small flower idea. So we're going to kind of go with that, I think, and layer them with some leaves behind. And then we'll do a greeting coming across. Should we add some ribbon over that gold foil? Or maybe do a Z in the back? Maybe that's what we should have done, is actually just do ribbon here. Okay, so I am going to gently remove this, really gently, because I didn't put a ton of adhesive on it. And I'm going to do a double, kind of like a folded ribbon there instead. So that's kind of to be about 8 inches. I'm going to go a little bit bigger than 8 inches, so more like 8 1/4. And then I'm going to add some tear and tape right here. Okay, we are almost done. This has been fun to create these cards with you so that you can see another design idea with them. So they're going to kind of open up a little bit on the right and still be folded on the left. And then I'll take a pair of paper or nice fabric scissors here. So if you don't have a nice pair of fabric scissors for your ribbon, you should run off to the store and get some. It makes a big difference. So that's going to be our little element that goes straight across, and then we'll add our flowers over that. I think that will be nice. let's do the same thing here. Kimberly says a Z. Oh, sorry, Kimberly, I just saw your message. April says the ribbon is nice. Diana says the leaf option really made the small flowers pop. So I agree. I think that will be a good little background element to help them stand out. So again, open them up just a little bit on that left side and then trim them at an angle. You could even do the same angle. They don't have to like be different angles. So like that. So this one is different and those are the same. Okay, so I'm going to take these leaves and just trim off the stems because I don't want to see those. And then I'm going to take, I think I'm going to use some liquid adhesive so that this is holds down onto the card well. And then I'll pop up the flowers with dimensionals. I'm going to do these at an angle here, like that. Hopefully I like that because now they're stuck on there. And this one we're doing blue. And what did we decide? All right. So I'm going to do blue at an angle here, and then let's do that yellow down a little lower, just like that, at an angle. Oh. Okay, and we'll just repeat that over here on this side. Kimberly says that she likes what I am doing with this design. I'm glad. Thank you, Kimberly. Thanks for joining me today. It's really fun to have all my crafting friends. And then we'll do that darker one on top just to kind of contrast it from that bottom color, and then kind of do the same thing we did on the other one and have the top color come down a little bit into that bottom section like that. Okay, it's turning out really pretty. And then let's do another greeting. I kind of want to make it into like a banner almost. Let's think. Okay, so I'm going to kind of dive off. Well, let's just use this. So I've used You Are Lovely, I've used Best Wishes, and I have used I Miss You and Happy Birthday. So maybe we do congratulations, because then we could use this as like a wedding card or a baby card. That would be good. We can put it right below that and use our 1/2 inch strips again. I'm going to stick that on the other side of my clear block and use the Mossy Meadow ink pad once again and stamp this. I want to make sure I leave a little bit of space on the right side, just so that if I want to use that banner punch again, I can do that. So then I could tuck that under here, maybe. Maybe that needs to be a little bit skinnier. Just like that. And then flag that end. That will be cute. Okay, just going to put some adhesive on the left side where it's going to be tucked in, and then I'll just take a dimensional on the right side so that it kind of pops up. And then I'm just looking for it to stick around, like be right by that flower, and then you can see that fun dimension there. Okay, that turned out cute, and again, it's really similar to our first card. We've got our floral elements on the left side, and then our greeting, even though this one's on top, it's on the bottom. And then something fun to kind of go across the card there. So we'll do the same thing here. That's going to tuck in there. And we'll do banner on this side. Oh no, we're stuck. Come out. All right, you guys, these cards are almost done. Just want to say thank you so much for joining me. It's been really fun to be able to come and meet with you each Saturday for the last couple weeks and make these fun cards. And so I hope you've enjoyed seeing some different ideas on how you can use these layouts to create some beautiful cards. And have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you again soon in my Facebook group. I'm not sure what we're going to do next on our Saturdays, but I will come up with something fun, and I'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.